The camera turned off somewhere along the way, so I'm going to kind of do a quickie review here. We'll go over everything real quick. First thing, we're going to be talking a little bit about knife fighting today. We're going to talk about the fundamentals of knife fighting using the principles of the Filipino martial arts. The key first thing I want you to remember about knife fighting is this is a weapon. It's dangerous, and this isn't. It's a rubberized knife, but if we had real blades, this is a weapon. It's very dangerous. Safety first, okay? With that in mind, when you hold your knife, there's two types of grips. You've got what's called the foil grip, your standard grip like this, where you would hold with the blade pointing outward or upwards. You've also got what's called the ice pick grip, which is held with the blade pointed downwards. They're both effective grips. Some people like to debate as to which one is more effective. To me, either one. Either way, it's a knife. It'll hurt you. Second thing, for safety, always keep the blade out away from you. When you set up your stance, you want the blade out in front of your body, pointed preferably at your opponent, and so it's never going to be pointed in at you. Even when you're in your ice pick grip, you want the blade like this or like this away from you. You don't want it to be pointed in at you. Sometimes you'll see people hold the blade like this, which is okay. You've got some degree of control over it. I think you actually have a better degree of control over the weapon in this grip, but either way, you just make a habit out of keeping the blade pointed away from your body. Alright, so we're going to be working with the foil grip in this video, and we're going to be working against the #1 angle. So when we're talking about the Filipino martial arts breaks all weapons combat down into 12 angles of attack. We're going to be dealing with the #1 angle, which looks like this. You're going to be starting from overhead, coming down at a diagonal downward strike. Right hand side, strong side, downward diagonal strike. Okay? It looks like this. If Ozzy kind of has his arm out here, I'm going to be trying to attack his weapon hand. I'm going to be coming downward at a downward diagonal strike. If I were attacking his body, it's going to look like that. Okay? So what's going to happen, we're going to be working on the concept of defanging the snake. In other words, I'm going to be attacking his weapon hand. When he attacks me with his #1 angle, I'm going to be working at attacking his oncoming weapon hand. He's going to use a #1 angle. I'm going to use a #1 angle. I'm going to angle out with my footwork to get out of the path of the weapon to create a cushion of space for me. And then you're going to see the counterattack. Okay? So if Ozzy comes at me with that #1 angle, I'm going to come through, and then I'm going to come back in. Okay? So. Alright. Oh, and that's one thing, you know, the thing with the weapon is anything's a target. What you saw there was Ozzy came at me with a lower strike. He kind of came down a little bit lower. I still tried to come at him with the #1, which works, but the thing is, if that happens, I need to get my body back and out of the way, and I'm going to turn my blade down, like so, allowing his blade to pass through. So let's do that again. If you come at me with a lower strike, I'm going to come back. That's the idea there. Okay. So let's like if you're coming out, you're going to try to attack my neck. I'm going to get out of the road. I'm cutting the inside of his hand. And one of the things about this is I'm using his momentum against him. As he brings that weapon hand down, I'm going to put my blade in there. His own momentum is going to cut him, force the cut. That allows me to come back in and finish with my finishing, my counterattack. Okay. So I'm gonna do a few #1 angles for Ozzy, give him a chance to practice this, give him a chance to work at getting out of the way, defanging the snake, slicing at my weapon hand, and then coming back in with the counter. Okay? Even against the ice pick grip. Good. Excellent. All right. So now, We just use a basic principle of Kali, and the first principle is when somebody comes in with a number 1 angle, you can do one of two things. If you hold that number 1 angle out there for me for a second, I can either meet the force, come back, attack his force if that's coming in, or I can, second principle is I can follow the force, pass it through, which allows me to. So I'm going to have Ozzy give me just a couple more number 1s. I'm going to pass it through. That's the idea there. There you go. Slow her down one more time, just nice and slow for the camera. I'm going to pass the weapon through, which is nice because as that weapon passes through, I'm going to take it from behind, allow the weapon to pass through and over, and then my blade is right in position to strike, stabbing at the liver or higher or whatever. Okay. Work with that a little bit. Work with your angles. Work with your footwork. We're going to do this drill again in the next video. We're going to work on using all the angles of the footwork, see what works best for us. Okay? All right.